the relationship problem is not only between two people. Sometimes status comparison is sitting right between them. And that could be on any type of relationship for that matter. Status comparison can reshape closeness, conflict, trust, boundaries, and the stories we tell ourselves about other people. It may appear in what we ask for, what we avoid saying, what we tolerate, or how quickly we pull away. The relationship, the way we behave, it differs across generation, obviously. But the deeper needs for safety, dignity, love, and belonging remain recognizable. So there's a duality here. I'd like you to ponder on this. This duality is between having more enough. So the question will be, what happens to connection when status comparison enters the room? What's up? I'm here. What happens when we start comparing? When status comparison enters a relationship, the deeper invitation may be to protect dignity without closing the heart. The deeper tension here seems to be status versus belonging. When one person appears to have more, like more money or success, influence, education, attractiveness, some of us that are handsome than others, thank you very much. But that's okay, we all expressions. Maybe freedom, recognition. The relationship can quietly shift from connection into measurement. I will be sharing some references to see other perspective through their lenses, so I could see it, you could see it through my lens, and eventually I like to see it in the comments below. I like to see and ponder on your lenses. So what we want to do is we want to perform different jobs rather than simply repeat the same message. So through the lenses, those the different jobs. I'm simply sharing how I see these topics through my own lenses, through my own experience. So please take what resonates, questions what doesn't, and use your own judgment along the way. In Christianity, in James 2, 1 through 9, I'm paraphrasing here, James warns against treating people differently because of visible wealth or social standing. The immediate setting is a faith community, but the human tension underneath is broader. Is like, does someone's status change the dignity that we give them? I would say protect dignity without closing the heart. Status comparison can create subtle hierarchy inside relationships. So, for instance, who gets listened to? Whose need seems more important? Who feels they have more leverage? Who begins tolerating things because they feel less than? Who assumes they deserve more because they have more? So James brings the issue back to human worth before social ranking. I'd like you to ponder on this. When status changes between two people, what helped dignity remain equal even when circumstances are not? Because let's face it, a lot of us turn into jealousy because we don't know how to handle other success, even if other success are directly tied into our own benefit. What are the odds? Let's see it through the lens of Stoicism. I believe I said that right. Stoicism. You will set me straight. So, what is up to us versus what is not? So the idea here is the Stoic distinction, especially associated with Epictetus, separate what is within our control, our judgment, choices, responses from things that are not fully ours to command, or including reputation, wealth, recognition, and how others evaluate us. This gives having more versus feeling enough a different angle. So, status become powerful when internal things begin determining internal worth. For instance, a partner's promotion may not simply mean they are doing well. It can become, what does their success say about me? And here's the trap. Here's what we need to see. From which lens are we looking things through? Is it through the lens of scarcity? Is it through the lens of me, myself, and I? In other words, can we be happy for a partner and not let this doubt get in between us, or in between you and your partner or your social life? Or if they have more choices now, will they still choose me? You will ponder on that. I pondered on that before. I could tell you this called insecurity, but who am I to say that? The Stoic lens does not erase relations needs. It asks where we have placed our sense of being enough. Where is yours? That is useful because comparison often turns another person's circumstances into evidence about our own value. I'd like you to ponder on this. How much power does comparison gain when we let things outside our control decide whether we feel like I'm enough or whether you feel you're enough? Food for thought. In the eyes or through the lens of William Shakespeare, Othello was worried about status, has a lot of insecurity. And the story that we built. So the idea is Othello is not simply a story about jealousy. It is also, it explores how insecurity, social standing, suspicion, and interpretation can distort intimacy, or not just only intimacy, a good friendship, a good relationship. Othello's strategies grow partly through the story he comes to believe about himself. Desdemona, his wife, and what others may be doing or thinking. When you worry about what others are thinking, who is doing the thinking for you? Who's watching out for you? You see, this is going to connect about the stories we tell ourselves about other people. And the reality is that status comparison rarely remains a neutral observation. It could really become a story. We create things. It could either go left, it could go right, up, down. Our mind is equipped that it cannot just, it's always talking, it's always judging, it's always plotting. So a story can become, for instance, like, they think they're better than me now. I'm holding them back. Or they could replace me. Or they don't respect me anymore. Or I deserve someone on my level. And once the story becomes emotionally convincing, you convince yourself, by the way, people can begin reacting to the story rather than to the person in front of them. That could very well reshape trust, boundaries, conflict, and how quickly someone pulls away. Perhaps we want to see our inner self if that's been going on around us and see who's been pulling away recently. Are they the one to blame? Or are we responsible to make the change? I'd like you to ponder on this. When comparison enters a relationship, how much conflict comes from what actually changed? And how much comes from the story we created about what that change means? So, to summarize it a bit here, James in the Bible 2, verse 1 through 9, talks about dignity. Stoicism, Epictetus, talk about being enough or enoughness, if you may. I don't even think that's a word. Shakespeare, Othello, renders the story. So you see, it goes through dignity, enoughness or enough, and story. Each reference looks at a different layer. I'd like to invite you to look at the different layers. James, he asks, does status change how we value each other? Things that make you go, Stoicism, why does someone else's position have so much power over how we value ourselves? And that's typically, not to stereotype, but that typically comes from the alpha, the person who's the alpha. It could be the female, it could be the male. But the alpha tends to be very judgmental and create stories. So, Shakespeare, on the eyes of Shakespeare, what story do we begin telling once comparison makes us insecure? So that takes the situation or the relationship into self and then into interpretation that can reshape the relationship. I'd like you to ponder on this. When someone we love begins to have more, what are we really afraid of? What are we really afraid of losing? The relationship, maybe? Our place in it? Or maybe the version of ourselves that existed before the comparison began? You see, for as long as we compare ourselves to others, there's always going to be someone higher and lower than ourselves. There's always going to be someone better and worse than ourselves. As much as you compare, we cannot compare. Why do we want to compare? You are unique in your own way. We are all unique in our own way. We all got our own gift. What we need to do is be present and see and realize who is making that determination, who is making that decision, who is looking out. Is my experience talking? Is my background talking? Is my jealousy talking? Is my stories that I made talking? Is my perception talking? Just because we had an experience, whether it be a bad experience or a good experience, that does not mean that that will follow us forever. We could either learn from it and move on. A lot of the things happen for us, not to us. But our mind make it so that we start making story and believe it on it. We believe on it so hardly that no matter what else we see, we actually send angels, divine presence, divine beings. We actually, we manifest these things in the outer layers of the universe. As within, so is without. As above, so is below. As the soul, so is the universe. So you start projecting what's inside of you. Are you full of insecurity? Your lens will be insecurity. Are you ashamed? Your lens will be through shameful lens. Do you realize what's going on? Take charge and handle your business. Now you have a different lens. When you become present, when you analyze the thought, you become unique. And perhaps you can indeed save that relationship. Whether it be at work, whether it be with your partner, whether it be with a friend, or whether it be a networking cycle, whatever the case might be. It's all about the lens that you see things through. Perhaps enough is partly a number and partly a relationship with fear. Maybe that is where status comparison stops being only a struggle and starts becoming something we can learn from. Maybe the next conversation is less about winning and more about seeing what is actually happening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I love to see what you got on the comment. I love to entertain the idea of your lens. I'd like you to participate if you like. We're working very hard to bring this ponder to all of you so we could ponder together and we find common ground and help each other out. Sometimes it does take the village. Thank you. Have a good one.